So here we are for the start of the races between Princeton, Columbia, and Delaware, lightweight races. First up is the 3 and 4V varsity fours. In lane 1 we have Delaware in yellow and blue in the blue Vespoli. In lane 2 we have Columbia, light blue and white in a dark blue Vespoli. And in lane 3, the Princeton crew, orange and black in a Wintech. Winds calmed down a little bit since the women raced earlier. I'm your commentator, James Donovan, class of 2010. I was a lightweight here at Princeton, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the guys do. Hopefully we'll be taking a lot of shirts home today. But Columbia and Delaware, very fast crews, very competitive. Any wins that Princeton gets here today are going to be hard fought. Well, if you win a race in men's crew during the regular season and in the nationals, you get the other crew's racing shirts. Yeah, it's a nice tradition we have. I myself have a big box of them sitting at home. So the unofficial trophies of racing is very exciting. Tradition that goes way back, and it's great. Not being a NCAA sport, we don't have to worry about, technically that is a form of betting. So kind of one of the more honored traditions, so we stick to it. Crews are getting aligned here, starting line. Again, we have Delaware in lane 1, Columbia in lane 2, and Princeton in lane 3. Official is pulling the crews. Countdown start. And we have a clean start here. Princeton a little splashy off the start, but the power that they're putting in the boat is giving them a lead. They jump out early. They are a length up already in these first 10 strokes of the race. But it is not clean. It is definitely a lot of boat movement. But as they come through the 100, they have almost a full length lead on the field. Delaware about a seat or two up over Columbia. Little crosswind coming in now. As the crews settle out into a base pace, Princeton striking a 38, and they're going to come down off their high strokes. Let's see if they can maintain this lead after that strong burst. They will come through the 250 first with a time of 54.90. Delaware not far behind with a time of 56.75. And Columbia, again, only about a seat or two down off Delaware. But Princeton maintaining a lead of about 3 seats. The Delaware bow ball sitting on the stroke man of the Princeton 4. So they're still sitting up, getting good power. And as they've lengthened out here in this middle body of the race, as they approach the 500-meter mark, they are still looking clean. Columbia has made a little bit of a move here. They've passed Delaware, replaced them. They're now sitting, their bow ball is on the stroke seat of the Princeton 4. And as they come through the 500-meter, Princeton will lead with a time of 150.56. Columbia 152.39, and Delaware about a half a second back off Columbia. Columbia is making a press now. Their bow ball sitting on the bowman of the Princeton 4. It's going to be very important for Princeton in this middle 1,000 to row cleanly, to sit up. They can't rely on power like they did in the start to get them that lead. They need to stay relaxed. They need to stay poised if they're going to take the middle of this race. And Columbia has now passed the Princeton crew, sitting about 2 seats up. Delaware also moving on the Princeton crew. Their bow ball sitting on the 3-man of the Princeton crew. Princeton now about 4 seats down on the Columbia boat. Columbia looking a little bit cleaner than the Princeton crew, getting a little bit more length, getting full compression, staying long. Very important in 4s, especially these small boats. You need to have good rhythm. The Princeton 4 now level with the Delaware crew. Both boats sitting bow decks on the stern deck of the leading Columbia crew in lane 2. As they come towards the 1,000, Columbia still pushing their lead, sitting at a much lower stroke rate, only a 33. Princeton rowing a 34.5. Delaware in the outside first lane rowing 35. Princeton is now trailing Delaware by about 2-3 seats. Columbia almost breaking open water on Delaware as they come through the 1,000. Princeton through the 1,000 with a time of 3:46.62. And unless they start getting it together a little bit, getting a little bit of a stronger base rhythm, Columbia is just pushing away in this second 1,000 of the men's third, fourth varsity 4s race. Princeton making a move now, pushing back to level with Delaware in that outside lane, cutting in on that Columbia lead, but Columbia still leading by almost 3/4 of a boat length over the Princeton boat right now. Princeton coxswain calling for the Princeton rowers to sit up, a little bit more press. They've brought it level with the Delaware boat, and now they're starting to move on the Delaware boat as they come through the 7:50 to go with a time of 4:43.56, but still not making any bit of a lead on the leading Columbia boat. Leading Columbia boat about a full length ahead now of the trailing Princeton and Delaware crews. Princeton and Delaware slugging it out, but Columbia looking a little bit more relaxed, a little bit cleaner with their base rhythm. As they come into the last 500, Delaware and Princeton still fighting over that second place position, but Columbia pushing out their lead now to almost a length and a half of open water. They're going to come through the last 500-meter mark at a time of 5:32.31. Princeton and Delaware dead level here as they come through the 500-meter mark with a time of 5:41.09. So about 9 full seconds back for the Delaware and Princeton crews. Princeton needing to make a press now as they come towards the last 250 meters. If they're going to have a chance at second. There they are. They got a seat now. But Columbia still pressing their lead. Almost 2.5 lengths of open water now. Columbia coming up to that last 250 meters with a time of 6:29.70. Princeton now about 2.5 seats up on Delaware. They come through the 250 with a time of 6:40.59. Delaware only about half a second back. Columbia looking very long and strong in this last 250. They're going to be hard to catch for these Delaware and Princeton crews. But Delaware and Princeton in a very tough dogfight here in this last 150 meters. Princeton jacking the rate up here, sitting at about a 36.5. Delaware a little bit higher, 37. and Columbia. Looks like they're going to take this race. With a time of 7:29, unofficial time. Princeton and Delaware very close to the line here. It looks like Delaware just edged out Princeton by a little less than a second. Very tight racing in that last 500. A lot of changes in position there between second and third. The Princeton boat in lane 3 and the Delaware crew in lane 1. But Columbia takes the third varsity fours race.